Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Ghost Game episode 51, Headless. I'm May, and I'm joined by the absolutely fantastic Quinn.
Hi.
And the equally absolutely fantastic Chloe.
Hello.
Before we get into episode 51, let's go over Quinn's quotes for episode 50. So Quinn, you have the floor. What were your thoughts on episode 50?
So I feel like this will be a little controversial, but I was actually really into this episode. The character conflict just felt, pretty real to me. Pucci's childish worldview and the, refusal to listen to others felt, fairly realistic, and we didn't turn it into a morality play. People, kept trying to talk to them, but also didn't really sit down and explain things thoroughly until they got it, and so it just kept, escalating the conflict, which, yeah, I was super into that. The lashing out at the end, breaking off the relationship by just saying I hate you while clearly, being aware that they had screwed up. Good stuff. I really enjoyed the episode a lot. I will say, can Mikumon get a break just ever? And also...
Yeah, I feel bad for her. Like, she had a bad time in Try. She had a bad time, a few months ago, just not existing.
Give me the show where Mekumon gets to be happy.
Just give me, I don't know, someone gets a Mekumon and it's just like their cat, but it doesn't, it's just, they just treat it like a cat, like it lives, like it just lives like a cat.
Yeah, this is just my Mekumon. We're buddies.
Yeah, just, give it, just a happy life where it doesn't even have to fight with other Digimon.
Exactly.
It has, a house cat life, just a happy life. But no, people just want to traumatize their cats in Digimon, which is just, now I'm thinking about it, are there any happy cat Digimon? Even Tailmon Uva, I think, has some things going on.
That's a fair point. My last note for episode 50, I had an off by one on this week. Did we have to bring up Espimon? The main thought I had about Espimon in this episode is that I was glad he wasn't in it.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like he's always in it, just as a background character at least.
Yeah, and the one time he wasn't on screen, everybody had to ask, where's Pucci? Oh wait, we knew where Pucci was.
Poor Espimon. I still don't mind him. I don't find his existence that bad, but I just wish he did more. So, who is your favourite character for episode 50?
I'm gonna go with Pucci.
That is valid. Very sweet little friend.
And terrible and really, really needs to, talk to some people about some things.
Oh yeah, definitely there's very cute, but yeah, has some issues.
They can stop adding 9-year-old me.
Oh no.
Aww. So what about your rating out of 5?
4.5.
Wow. That is different from our rating.
Episode.
That means that it gets an overall rating of 9.5, which puts it in the same ranking as episode 31, which was Killer Blade. That was the one where, Angoramon had the sword, and then Zubamon showed up and was badly animated and looked weird because it was a weird-shaped Digimon. Do we like this episode more or less than episode 31?
More for me, but I don't think that's surprising.
I think I actually liked it more. Judging by my ranking, I put episode 50 in 35th place, and that episode 31 was in 46th place. So I'm going to say more as well. Chloe, any thoughts from you?
I don't really remember what I gave last week's episode.
2.
I probably liked it less, but y'all both liked it more, so I'm fine with putting it above.
Okay, I will put it above, so that'll be in 33rd place is where Payback is going. So in terms of your individual ranking, Quinn, where are you putting episode 50 Payback?
That's a good question. Let me look at the significantly less convenient to read Excel
I'm
sheet.
also just realizing that I had put Chloe's ranking of episode 50 in your column for some reason, so that's what I've sent through to you.
That's fine.
So just ignore the bottom bit because I've included episode 50 hanging out down the bottom of yours. which I've now fixed
Oh, I hate
on
this
my
so
end.
much.
That's... Damn you!
Yeah, I don't know
Excel
why,
for breaking or whatever happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Discord. What happened was Discord updated, and so just for the listeners, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I keep all the ratings and everything, and then I copy it through and I send it through on Discord. And previously, it had just basically converted to an image, and it made it super convenient because you could just kind of look at it and it'd be an image. But now it's just printing it in like text form. Which is awful. So I need to like come up with a
Can I convince
I
you
might
to
just,
do
like,
Win Shift S and take a screenshot of it?
Yeah, I use I was gonna say I just can put it in a Google Sheets so I can just share a link.
That'll work too, I guess. Anywho,
Yeah, so I think I might do that.
I am gonna put it above 35.
Above 35, which I'm not seeing, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of a search. Yeah, so that means it is in 20th place then?
I may have gotten my...
Oh, you're looking in my column.
Okay. That's still fine, yeah.
Okay, then we're doing it there. Let's just...
I may or may not change that later, and if so, we'll note that next week.
Yeah, just let me know and I'll do an edit. It's easy to edit for me. I've clacked away and I've put it in that place. So yeah, that was your thoughts. Was there anything else that you haven't mentioned, or are you ready to move on to this week?
I think I'm good.
Okie dokie. So synopsis time for episode 51. We have, I guess, Hero's father confirming that he's not dead because he mentions reading the
It's a deep
letters
fake.
from Hero.
I will believe it when I see him in the flesh.
Yeah,
Minimally,
honestly, that's what I'm thinking.
he will be symbolically dead and has to stay in the digital world.
Or we're doing like a kind of thing where it's like a ghost in the machine where he's actually dead, but like his soul is living on in some like
That's what I'm saying. Symbolically
simulation.
dead in some manner.
Yeah. But so he gives the characters some product placement of the
Just so much.
upgraded DIMs, which are the BE memories. We haven't actually got these announced officially yet, the Angoramon and Jellymon ones. We only know of Gammamon ones, which interestingly enough I don't feel like was in this episode. And his one is like a translucent red kind of like dim.
Oh yeah,
but
they must be
we get to
waiting
see...
for that to be the big special gets to go to Mega Dim.
Yeah, but it's just, it's the same as what we saw for Ruli and Kyoshiro. And this is because the Jewel V, which is what the upgraded Digivice V is called, it's written as VV, but it's said Jewel V. So it's the BEVV. So that is coming out on the 26th of November. So
Well, I'm gonna call it a Bev from now on.
Yeah.
That is great. I kind of love that.
You're welcome.
I'm okay with calling it a Bev. That's great. Yeah, I'm just going to do that now. That's fantastic. Well done. Phenomenal. That's a good... I'll remember that one for next time when I introduce y'all. But anyway, so... That's kind of like Hero's dad just saying, here, have some upgraded DIMs. It'll help you to synchronize with your Digimon.
Whatever that
and
means.
then... Yeah, whatever. I guess they can hold perfect longer. I don't know. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then we find out there's like a Mon of the Week, which is like a headless ghost, which is kind of scary. And when it attacks you, you get basically put into a comatose state. You get a red line around your neck. And then when people see the headless ghost again, there's a headless knight that has like something that someone recognizes you from, like a bracelet or a keychain or something. So you're basically turned into a headless ghost. So a few characters, including Kyoshiro, get attacked, and then we have Hero investigate, find out that it's because this history teacher found a helmet in like a thrift shop or something, or an auction, and it's actually Dark Knightmon's helmet. Then, when the Headless Ghosts attack again, Hero returns the helmet to Dark Knightmon, but Dark Knightmon sees everything that the helmet saw, and which kind of implies that the digital world has been around for a long time, because it seemed to go back quite some time, so that's an interesting little small thing. And then they he gets mad, so they have to fight him. They basically all revert to child. Gammamon says he's going to go kaboom, and that's enough for the characters to get their upgraded Digivice, which feels anticlimactic, but I guess I'll get to that. Dark Knightmon is impressed by this because Gammamon is able to warp evolve straight to perfect, and then Dark Knightmon, he concedes because he's so impressed by it, and then he explains that a portal opened in the digital world and decapitated him, which is definitely kind of cool and gory, and that kind of understandably upset him that his helmet was kind of just tossed aside as trash. I want to know what would happen
if this happened to any other Digimon.
Yeah, it kind of gives you some implications of that's horrifying.
Especially since he's able to merge their memories back together.
Yeah,
that is
kind
of haunting. Screwed up, actually.
Yeah, Ghost Game, can we please elaborate on the horror
parts
there?
Are just completely ironed over. It's a shame.
Yeah, usually Ghost Game does not shy away from showing us the horrific parts, but I feel like they just kind of glossed over the actual real horror of that episode. Okay, is that a problem? Are more really Digimon going to say yeah?
on the real horror things I remember Kiyashiro needing to get an MRI, and we really glossed over how deeply existentially terrifying that whole thing should have been for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's some definite real trauma that we're just going to real trauma. We're just going to disregard that. But anyway, so we get the upgraded Digivice, the Bev, if you will. And it appears in the end of the credits as well. It's not blue, it's red now.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode ends. Now that we've gone over last week's episode and the synopsis for this week's episode, let's discuss some discussions. So first up, what were our highlights for this week?
I liked the intro.
Yeah, it was spoopy.
Yep. Good intro. I liked also, I didn't write this down, but I liked the general sound that was going on this episode.
Yeah, there was some good sound engineering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghost Game does so well with the creepy, and this episode was no different. And again, it looked good. It looked creepy. It also kind of reminded me vaguely of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Which I feel I don't get that feeling that often. Things don't remind me of Scooby-Doo, but this week's episode did, which is fine. I like Scooby-Doo.
We've gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for those pesky humans.
Mm-hmm.
And your dumb, whatever. What animal is Gammamon? Hedgehog?
Hedgehog dragon.
That's a point. A lot of Digimon have a very clear animal that they're based on.
What animal is Gammamon?
Yeah, no, seriously, Jellymon is obviously, a jellyfish, Angoramon is an Angora rabbit. What is Gammamon meant to be? Usually they clearly, start from, an animal or a mythological creature or something that we know of, or, a concept or something. Gammamon is just, I don't know if he's, a lizard or, a lizard echidna or something, but, what animal is that? I've never thought about that, and honestly, I'm thinking a lot about that now.
Why can't I think of the Digimon enchilada? The name...
Kalumon.
Thank you, Kulumon. It honestly is the thing that reminds me most of Gammamon.
Honestly,
Air,
I can totally see
about the Digimon enchilada.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So, okay. So in Digimon Tamers, they have there are things that aren't Digimon called the Digimon Enchilada. But when I was a kid and I found out about that, I was like, a Digimon enchilada. And that's just forever. Whenever I think of what it is, I'm like, Digimon enchilada. Because that's just or a digital enchilada, I think it is. I don't know why, but that's just how I remember it. I feel like Kid Me was really stupid. Between that and
and in fairness, who even today knows the word entelecheia if it's not from Digimon?
Honestly, I'm sometimes I'm just homeostasis. Digimon invented that, right? I remember sitting there in science class in I think it was year 10, and they were like, today we're going to talk about homeostasis, and I was like, oh, I got this. Oh, I said some cringe things that day.
Oh, kiddo.
I think, luckily enough, I think everyone thought I was just being, like, a class clown and just trolling them. But no, I genuinely was like, I was like, yes, it is from Digimon. And I just, like, I looking back, I'm just like, why are you like this? Like, I just, yeah, Kid Me needs to... okay, I think it might have been year 8, maybe. I can't remember what year we learnt about homeostasis. But
7, 8 sounds
definitely,
about right.
Yeah, we definitely learnt about it, and I showed it with like, Digimon. I just, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm really glad that, like, my high school offered 2 languages, German and Japanese, and I'm really, really, really glad no one ever brought up the word, oh, wait, no. We did study World War One. And in like year 10 or 11, and they did say the Kaiser, and I was like, what does Japan have to do with this? But at least like that was more like a quiet thing. I don't think anybody really like
and you probably
I don't think anyone
gotten
really
away with some, pretended misunderstanding because Japan was in World War II, but
yeah.
No. Digimon invented the concept of homeostasis.
Yeah, I just... do not get your education from Digimon, please. Because it doesn't work
really
out for you. Don't get your education. It was gonna be like, what animal is Digimon? But like... Yeah, I just... Anyway, so... What we were talking about Digimon, I guess? So highlights for episode 51, other than just me existing as a child, really liking Digimon the entire time.
I'm glad that we got the ability to skip evolution sequences, although I do still think that it's dumb that we're making a point of that.
I was surprised that they couldn't already do it, like, in previous seasons.
Yeah.
They'd just been able to do that.
Yeah, I also was surprised when it was warping up to a level we've already gotten to, which is unusual.
They have done warp to like from other levels besides just like Child 2 Mega before, but in Digimon Savers had warp evolving to perfect, if I recall correctly, and then double warp evolving being to Mega, because it had to do with how many levels you were skipping or something.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
And I remember really thinking it was dumb.
Yeah, just like, I'm fine with it just being called just regular warp evolution,
yep.
But it was slightly anticlimactic. Like, I was like, oh, what's happening? Oh my gosh, like, are we getting, like,
especially when you say double warp,
evolution...
and it really seems like it implies 4 levels instead of 3.
Yeah, just the normal amount. But yeah, I was expecting Gammamon's Megaform to be in this episode. We are actually getting a promo card in the next issue of Psycho Jump, which is coming out on, I think, December 2nd, and that's his Megaform. So I assumed that we would get it, I guess, at some point. So I was kind of expecting, like, oh my gosh, we're getting an evolution, but it felt like, oh, we're just getting to a Digimon we've already seen before. The animation was really good. That whole upgrade scene when Gammamon yells kaboom, and then we get like them just like all their Digivices upgrading, like that was really cool. I can't like go to lowlights, I guess, because the rest of it is a lowlight, but at least that part looked cool.
A
Big
lot
fan
of the
of that.
animation was good, and I will say, while the continued ghost appearances were kind of one note, they were well done and well animated.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, and spooky.
Yeah,
yeah.
they were.
I wish we had done a little more with that concept, but
yeah, I'm just glad that they did the headless ghosts and they looked different from hologram ghosts.
Yeah.
Like, you could still see that they are different, which is cool. Like, there's not many ways that you can do that kind of, like, ghostly look without doing the same, but it very much looked different. At one point, I was just not convinced it was a Digimon. Like, I was like, are we finally doing the... Oh, it wasn't a Digimon, it was just the demons, which I guess the werewolf episode kind of did that.
We did do that once, sort of, but
Yeah, but only sort of. Like, it was still, like, it was a Digimon who had eaten a lore that was the Mon of the Week. And then may or may not have been more than that. But I was thinking that they would be doing it straight up from this episode.
I was really surprised when they didn't do that on a Halloween episode, but...
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised they have, like... At this point, I'm wondering if they ever will do it kind of like, oh, it was actually just demons this week.
Seems unlikely at this point, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem unlikely. Like, that feels like something that they would pull out fairly early on, I guess. But I guess they can't, like, they're short of doing that.
Either that or
werewolf.
they're going to de-reaper it and just be like, yeah, by the way, for the next 10 episodes, we're fighting ghosts.
I kind of hate how both Tamers and Young Hunters did and here's the thing that's not a Digimon that you are now fighting, which is the big bad. So I'm kind of hoping that we don't do that.
No, it's pretty much never been a good choice when they've done that.
Yeah, like once off, if it's just like a once off, like, oh, this week we're fighting the demons and not the demons, but... I just don't like it when we're like, and now we're in the final arc. The big bad, drumroll, is not a Digimon. It is just a random blob with a smiley face, which is what Young Hunters did. It was just like, hey, remember the D-Reaper? Let's do that again, but this time it's a smiling rock.
I'll be real with you. I never finished Young Hunters because... wow, did that series get just kind of terrible fast.
It's only 25 episodes too, so...
It's...
I don't mind it, honestly.
But, anywho...
They only put the plot in the last few episodes.
Yeah, and
like,
I considered skipping ahead and just didn't care anymore.
Yeah. But, anyway, any other highlights for this week's episode?
Just the one, which is, I was planning to point out how weird it was that the history teacher knew, like, anything about a random helmet that he found at an antique shop. But no, it turns out that he thought some random piece of junk that he found that turned out to be a sentient head was like 1,200 years old and from Europe, and then didn't tell the police about it. He was just a very weird, terrible person, and I love that.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for the head, though.
Yeah.
My main highlight was, other than the animation just looking fantastic, was I felt that the Dark Knightmon's character to be actually quite interesting. Like, I found that was fairly unique. He was just kind of mad that his head was mistreated, and... But was it mistreated? I don't know, I just...
Like, they thought it was
they thought it was junk,
object.
And they kind of... Yeah, but they sold it off, but... He got offended that his head was just treated badly, but by, like, or disregarded as, like, oh, this is junk, and was kind of sold off, and he was just kind of mad that he wasn't, like, you know...
an auction, though, you know?
Yeah, like he found it at a antique store thinking it was relatively, you know, non-valuable, but saw that it was, cleaned it up, was showing it to students as this valuable relic. Like, yeah,
but in terms of what a Digimon's understanding is, like, I mean, not sure if, like, Digimon would have a concept of that.
I'll grant that it was at least interesting, but,
Oh, yeah, it was interesting, and it felt different from the other times we've just had a Mon of the Week be mad about something that humans are doing. We all, like, the bird episode, for example, which was just, like, also much interesting because they were, like, caged birds, and he was kind of, like, mad that the birds were being caged. But I also kind of liked the fact that we're not, like, the battle was kind of, like, he just conceded because he was impressed. He wasn't just, like, I'm still evil, though. He was just kind of like, okay, I will now explain my feelings, and he felt kind of, like, noble, I guess, which was kind of nice.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll grant that it was a unique perspective, so there was that. But yeah,
good. Oh, and I do like that. So lowlight time.
Yeah.
My main lowlight is I can't believe that this episode was the upgrade Digivice episode. It felt like it meant nothing.
It really as like meant an upgrade, and they just mugged into the camera about it so much.
Like, either an upgrade is something that is, you know, caused by something huge in the episode. For example, in Digimon Tamers, the Digivice is destroyed because Takato basically freaks out and forces his Digimon to evolve, and it dark evolves and it breaks, and then his Digivice restores itself and he gets a new one. So it's like a small moment, but is caused by a huge thing. or we have in Digimon Savers, they upgrade because the Digivices all break and they have to go through training and then they're given their new Digivices. Or in seasons like Frontier, it's just like a quick like, oh, we have this power now and it's upgraded, but it's not like a big thing about it. This episode just felt like it meant the least out of all the other times we've had an upgraded Digivice.
It super did. I mean, just Dad put together a thing, had no idea if it would help, but was just like, oh, yeah, here, try this, maybe. And it's not like it did anything useful, it just saved a 15-second animation. But
And
it
I kind
sure
of always
is
expected...
the Digivice's evolution.
Yeah, it sure is that. I kind of expected from, like, oh, this is an invention from Hiro's father, that it always would be like, oh, when we get the upgrade, it's just going to be Hiro's father giving us the upgrade. So this episode didn't, like, surprise me that much. Like, oh, he's showing up, he's given the upgrade, and that was kind of it. It also felt like it meant nothing because it didn't feel earned. Like, Gammamon screamed kaboom, and all three of them got the upgrade. I don't know why... That, like, was kaboom like a magic word to activate it? Like,
that's the upgrade the whole time, I guess, but, like, it doesn't really hold together well, and realistically, yeah, we should now need the other two to also have an episode devoted to being kind of annoyed at a thing.
But it all all their Digivices just upgraded
That's
at
what I'm
once.
saying.
Like,
We're skipping that part because realistically, no one wants that. But on the other hand, it
I
doesn't
don't want
make
that. Is
any
good.
sense.
Yeah, I am glad that we're not doing that. But I also I'm worried that we're just going to have episodes where the other characters also just get the warp evolution. And that's, like, meant to be a focus of the thing. Like, oh, hey, we warp evolved! And it just would feel like it meant nothing because it's like, yeah, but it's to a Digimon we already had before. Or unless we learn more about maybe it removes that time limit that they have. I don't know.
It probably did, or at least extended it, and then there's probably going to be a bevwu at some point.
A bevwu.
Yep.
Oh, dear. But I know that y'all have said, hey, this just feels like it's product placement with the Digivice V, and I've always said, no, that's like every series. They've all had their Digivice, hey, you can buy this, and then it upgrades, oh, you can also buy this, by the way. But I felt like this episode definitely, like, none of the episodes particularly felt like they were product placement, but this episode definitely felt like, hey, so it's November 13th, and in 13 days, the Bev releases, and you can buy the Bev.
Hey, do you know what you should ask your parents for any holidays that might be coming up in say, the next couple of months?
Is the Bev. But it just felt like just too much like, hey, you can buy this now.
Yeah.
Like, and as I said, none of, like, the previous episodes I haven't really got that vibe from because I guess maybe I already have it, but I already have this on pre-order. I don't need to, like, be told to buy it. I already knew about this for months.
Yeah.
I'm excited by it.
You are not well...
Oh, I'm not the demographic. I know. I am not an 8-year-old Japanese boy. Sorry to disappoint. But
I'm not sure Google is convinced of that, though.
Yeah. To be fair, you're right. Probably not. I just felt like this felt too much just like... It felt meaningless. It felt just like, hey, we needed to upgrade the Digivice because we're releasing the toy soon. And we needed to do it before the actual release. Like... It's almost on par with the time that Dims were in Digimon Adventure : for no reason. Other than just like, hey, the Vital Bracelet is coming out in a few weeks. Let's show off the Dims. And it honestly felt like on par with that. Just like, hey, look, it's a thing you can buy. And that was my main lowlight. I just felt like, or I guess a few of my lowlights were just related to the fact that the upgrade just felt meaningless and just like we needed to do it because the toy's coming out. What are y'all lowlights?
Why were Gatsumon and Clockmon in this episode literally at all?
I guess to just be, like, there and experience things. I don't know. Yeah. I don't mind that.
Same with Espimon. Espimon did not need to be in this episode.
Yeah. My other one is that, well, I kind of get Dark Knightmon being, like, mad about how his helmet was treated. Like, at the same time, I can't fault the people for not knowing, you know? They think it's just some helmet, and I feel like they treated it pretty well, all things considered.
Especially, you put them in comas for just kind of standing near your helmet, possibly.
Yeah.
And then decided more violence was needed.
Yeah, the helmet woke up and the helmet chose violence. Like, but also, wait, I just realized he only got the memories when he put the helmet back on. So how does he know what the helmet saw?
I mean, I was asking Chloe this before we got on the air. Okay, what would have happened if it were any other Digimon? If the head had cut off, like, would the Digimon have died? Is that how that works? If they would put them back together at the end, would they have had just memories of months of terrible pain? How does this work? What is the cosmology?
Yeah, there's definitely something they didn't go into, which is they could have definitely gone, like, very horror with it.
Mm-hmm. I think that covered our lowlights.
Yeah.
We already talked about the product placement, right?
Yeah. So much
Yeah,
product
that was mine.
Yeah, I think that covers us then.
Okay, so what about favorite character? My favorite character, I put down Bandai's marketing department.
Oh, Air did a non-character. Oh, snap.
But honestly, part of me is just, like, tempted to change it to Dark Knightmon, but I might just keep it as Bandai's marketing department, because, like, I'm just gonna leave, I'm just gonna keep it as, Bandai's marketing department. Chloe, who is your favorite?
I think I'll do it for you. I'll say Dark Knightmon.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the
Chloe?
episode enough to go with, abstract concept this time. So I went with Black...
Oh, wait, can I guess? Can I guess?
Hit me.
Is it... Pow! Is it the girl at the start of the episode?
No, although decent second option.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, let's go. Who's your favorite?
Blacktailmon Oeuvre, or I don't actually remember the name. Because they're just...
It's Blacktailmon Uber. It's Uber, but with a V.
Okay. But I just like how they're just like, look, I just work here, take this stupid leaf box and let me go home. And he just has exactly as much interest in Gammamon's life as I do.
I chuckle a bit, just like how whenever Blacktail Maneuver shows up, he's just like, he has this like resting bitch face all the time.
Yeah, I love it.
And I kind of love that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So valid choice of character. I can't believe I'm the only one who went with an abstract concept, or like, you're not a real character. So that's definitely a first.
Yeah. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we went over it last time, that the only time that I've chosen like an abstract concept was in episode 40 when I just said every dog. So I do them, just not that often.
Yep.
In terms of rating out of 5, I gave this a 1 out of 5.
Oh,
I'm just
wow.
like, I just was not. It was just completely anticlimactic. Just like, oh, we have an upgrade. It just felt meaningless. It could have honestly just been a smaller part of the episode, or I don't know. It just felt like it didn't mean anything. And I do like my Digivice upgrade moments, but it just kind of felt like just too convenient. Like, we got it, and then.
Was.
Like, I honestly would have preferred it if it was more like like, not immediately done in this episode. Like, Hero's dad gives us the thing, and then we don't maybe see it for a few episodes.
And then it doesn't do anything for a while, and it leaves some amount of suspense.
Yeah, and then we have, like, a character moment, and then they get to Mega, and then it only upgrades once they have that moment of evolving their Digimon to Mega.
Yeah,
and
or at
then
least give me something where
then.
I feel like the 30-second limit or whatever is going to be a problem, and then you do, but just, oh, by the way, I needed to get up to my higher form in order to impress the guy enough to get him to say never mind.
And also, the thing is, you could have evolved to Canon Weissmon earlier. Like, it didn't really, except for like skipping an evolution, which is useful. It's something that he could have just done earlier to impress
like,
Dark Knightmon.
Or Angoramon could have, like, anyone could have escalated the fight significantly earlier, and like, we just didn't.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense because they have the time limit. They don't want to rush straight to perfect, but it still just feels kind of weird. Chloe, what was your rating out of 5?
So, I gave it a 4, actually.
Ooh.
I liked it decently enough. It was kind of, dumb and predictable and kind of weird at points, but, it was fine. I liked it.
Cool. And, Quinn?
I gave it a 3. I I felt like it was a perfectly serviceable episode that got really dragged down by product placement. And then, admittedly, I just don't have a lot of attachment to, the big Digivice upgrade moments. Admittedly, Atmon did it pretty well.
Yeah, Atmon did it, like, that was an emotional moment because I don't want to spoil too much. So, yeah, basically, they died and they had to kind of, like, be reborn and they had no memories and then, like, they had to have, like, moments and then they got new Digivices. So that was cool. I do like, I think Atmon probably handled it best. I do also like Savers how they did it, but also Tamers did it quite well because it wasn't like a huge, they didn't like, hey, the Digivice upgraded, it just kind of happened while he was evolving, and that was kind of cool. But yeah, so in terms of overall rating, that gives it an 8. So that means it is tied with episode 14, Zashiki Watashi, which is the grandma is having adventures on the farm, says the green monkey. Do we like this episode more or less than that one? Because I like it less, I think. Yeah, yep. Mine's definitely less on mine. What do y'all think more?
That's kind of tough. I'm also inclined towards less, I think, but it's close.
Yeah, I was also going to go with less, so fair enough.
Okie dokie. So that means that episode 51, Headless, in our overall ranking is in 41st place. In terms of my own ranking, it is in 3rd from last place, so that is 49th. It's just gonna hang out with my ones. I just really wish the upgrade was better, or at least more spread out. I know that Ghost Game doesn't really do spread out. They kind of do like, hey, today we're doing like a non-filler episode, so everything needs to be like done in this episode, which is kind of like a little bit annoying.
And
in terms of
do we have any indication of how many episodes total yet officially?
Nope.
Okay. I sort of feel like we're getting into the end zone and we're just gonna pedal to the metal on the plot soon.
Yeah, I honestly think so as well. I feel like it probably isn't ending this year, but it would be ending early next year. It is just how I feel about it. Like, just because we do need to have evolutions for the other characters.
I'd be a little surprised
I can
if
imagine
it went over 65.
Oh yeah, I think it'd maybe the same amount of episodes as Adventure Colon, maybe a little bit more, maybe like in the realm of 70, which, I mean, Young Hunters and Cross Wars all together, they have like 75 episodes. Yeah. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it did go around just above 70, but yeah, it does feel like it's ending. Or alternatively, it could just never end and just be an ongoing series like other anime franchises, so that could be possible, but I doubt it. So what about y'all's rankings? So Chloe, where are we putting episode 51?
Oh gosh. I think I am going to put it under... This is so much harder to read, so I apologize.
I'll put it in like
no, it's okay.
Google Sheets next time.
I'm gonna kind of phone it in here and put it under episode 3, which I think is...
That's in 25th place.
25th
So if it's under...
okay.
It'll be 26th place, so if it's under episode 3.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okie dokie, let's put it in 26th place. And Quinn, where are we putting episode 51?
I am gonna make things easy and also put it under episode 3 in 26th place.
Fantastic. I'm glad that's all easy for me when I do that later. So those are our rankings. Any other miscellaneous thoughts about this week's episode?
Yes, we were wondering about where Dark Knightmon got all the extra voices that he already had in the beginning.
I just think there were people that... I don't know, that's a good point, because they only said the people who were shown off, and that's...
Well,
like,
so,
I didn't even think about that.
Pretty unimportant, but
my speculation was it was just that all of the people that we saw through the eyes of the helmet got ghosted, but...
Yeah, like it's at some point,
That's just my assumption. I was curious if y'all had any thoughts on it.
No, I didn't even think about that, but that is... Yeah, I guess the other people who just saw the helmet over time.
Also...
But again, he only gets the memories when he connects with it, which is just like... But because he is causing it, because he's headless, and he's... But how would he know what the helmet's seen? Why hasn't he found it yet? I just... it's one of those things that, like, it gets worse the more you think about it.
So the other one that I had, and it's not really that specific to this episode, was the scar or something on Hero's ear. I'm about to post a picture. Do we know anything about that? I'm really kind of curious what this is.
So, the thing on his ear?
Yeah.
I don't know, he's always had that.
Yeah. I'm just, I'm curious if we'll get, some backstory on the scar on Hero's ear.
It could just be a birthmark.
Maybe.
It could be a weird birthmark.
But yeah, feels...
Which, I mean, I kind of like it if it is a birthmark. It's like...
Yeah.
It makes it kind of interesting, like, it's not just like... Because otherwise, if you remove, like, the birthmark, honestly, this guy just looks like a background character.
Oh, yeah, no, he's not a, like, particularly, he's not a very spot the protagonist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I kind of appreciate that. I mean, even in Atmon, when the whole thing was Haru doesn't feel like a protagonist, oh no, I'm like, you have green hair! Like, how are you sitting in class with all your brown haired classmates?
Robot boyfriend.
Yeah, which is just like, that is so protagonist. And that's something I liked about Takato. Takato, I mean, actually a lot of the Gogol kids don't particularly look protagonist-like. Honestly, now I'm thinking about it, the only one who looks protagonist is the only one who has like stresses about not being the protagonist, and that is Haru.
Also Taichi. He had some real protagonist.
Taichi has... Yeah, but that's just big hair. If you just, like, cut his hair, it looks normal.
Okay, but that's true of Yugi, too.
That is... Okay.
Until he starts dressing up like a bondage slave.
Like, yeah, the most protagonist is Takato.
Well, yes, but at that point he has, something other than just generic school uniform going on. Anywho.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just think it's like a birthmark. I don't feel like it's going to be addressed, but it could just be a scar from, like, I don't know. Yeah. Ooh, maybe Gammamon's always been around him and Gammamon bit him.
Okay.
Maybe.
Like, when they did the matching up with the iPad, they could have also matched up with the ear.
They should do some Mega Man Battle Network, and they somehow have the same DNA for magical reasons.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be surprised. That wouldn't surprise me. Point.
Alright, now we've done discussing, let's move on to Pondering, Postmon, Pat, and predictions. So first up, over on YouTube, and I've opened up the correct video this time, so that's cool and fun. We have Twilord saying in Digimon Survive, what if some human partners were jerks? And then Ghost Game is saying, what if some Digimon partners were jerks? And it then says, let's never have these 4 worlds crossover. And yeah, I loved Survive so much, so I'm happy to have all the Survive reference. Did y'all play Survive? I can't remember. I
have bought it, but I've not really made time to play it yet. Probably going to do that after the semester ends, though.
Please let me know your thoughts, because it's everything I've ever wanted from the Digimon anime, but in a video game instead, which is fine. But oh my gosh, yeah, it has a lot of things I've often said on the podcast. Hey, I really wish that Digimon did this. And then they did, but in Survive, so...
Is it just
I'm
kill
a big
the children?
Fan of
Is that the thing you're not trying to say? Excuse me, not to say.
There are many things. There are multiple things. There are multiple things that I have said, I wish Digimon would do this, and it's basically Survive did everything I've ever said, hey, I wish Digimon did this.
Fair enough.
So, it's good. So... Then we have Danny, who says that he wishes that Mate Crackmon would come back, but in her holy mode alongside the human partner. They also want to see the girl that got X-Tyrannomon and Warumonzimon to come back in future episodes and have them team up with the main cast. Honestly, I didn't think about that, but if we have, like, some final showdown with the big bad, I would love all the Mon of the Week who have befriended humans to just come back.
I could see that.
Like, that would be... and they all have Digivon.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I feel like Young Hunters kind of did that sometimes, but I would love that. Next, we have Duxio, who says, honestly, they feel like they were trying to put the vibes of a virtual or 2D girlfriend with the emphasis on Mei's femininity. Especially with how the students were more interested in Riku because of Poochie, and start distancing themselves when Poochie became Mei. I guess that is fair.
Yeah. At very least, Poochie was a very moe blob from the outside perspective.
They also says, listening to our discussion, they think the episode was more a story being told rather than a typical episode being experienced. Not in a bad way, but more people gathered in a room and someone telling how what happened. We don't get much of a direct connection with the characters, but we made to feel very unsettled in the reality of the story and the events happening. They feel a few Ghost Game episodes go for this vibe. where it's not directly scary, but you're uncomfortable, a little chilled by it.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely, I think that's something I like about Ghost Game, that it's just, sometimes it's just ominous and chilling, and I kind of, I mean, even in the Adventure reboot, a lot of the time I was just saying, hey, it's just kind of a little bit, like, creepy and ominous. I don't like anything else going on, but at least there's, like, that creepy feeling. And so I do like that, and something I like about Ghost Game. Next, we have Unclaimed Username, who says the ending they think was a bit different than how it comes off. May Crackmon totally understood that she was a bad match for Riku and pulled a tough love act to drive him away. That's why she said she hates him with tears in her eyes, and told him to make human, which was safe, friends.
Yeah.
It was the first selfless thing that May Crackmon did, not expecting Riku to pay it back. And yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah,
like
I don't know if I
could be
went
put in that way.
charitably with my interpretation, but definitely a I'm gonna push you away so that you can't push me away kind of thing.
See, I got the impression that it wasn't done in necessarily a selfless act. She was just having a bit of a tantrum.
Oh yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It was kind of a tantrum and also a degree of recognizing just, wow, I really effed this up, and doesn't at least feel like there's a way out of that. And that, that was a realistic take on the character they presented.
Yeah. Next, we have Chaos Blood Ninja, who says they love the Monster of the Week Digimon that get pseudo-partners, especially when they're able to digivolve through their emotional connection. But they do wish they would get more humans with Vital Bracelets, because 3 for 50 episodes has got to be the smallest number of proper tamers in a show so far. And absolutely, usually we get like a fourth, like, protagonist by now.
That's true.
Like, just like
I'm
someone's sibling.
that, but yeah, it is definitely.
Oh yeah, I don't
unusual.
mind at all. But it is a surprise. Like, the whole time I was like, hey, we've got a new human. We're going to get a fourth child.
Please,
and then
please don't let it be
nothing
the
ever
creep.
happened. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that they bet it's the creep because he's the only character with, like, a character. Having said that, he was in this week's episode, and all he said was, hey, hero, you sure do have a lot more holograms hanging out with you lately.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that, like, he existed to point that out, because I'm glad someone is. Like, I don't know, I feel like he is getting a lot of these random AI friends. Next, we have Angel Squeaks, who said they had the impression that this episode was going to be a lot more horrifying because of the way Poochimon kept smiling after keeping the list. And yeah, absolutely, I got, like, a very, like, sinister vibe from that, but it ended up not being necessarily that bad. And then they say the fact that it evolved into part of Mekumon lines of Digimon, so the fact that it ended so normally felt kind of like Whiplash tonally. Like, the first 10 minutes were horror, and then they decided, okay, enough of that, it's time to get to the Digimon part of the show now. And that's something that I feel like Ghost Game has done a lot, where it's just like, okay, enough of this horror, we forgot it's meant to be a Digimon episode. And a lot of these episodes feel like that, and a lot of Digimon Ghost Game honestly feels like it was meant to be another show, and then they were like, but what if it was Digimon? And then they kind of, like, put in the mandatory
Let's
5
be
minutes
real,
of,
a lot
it's time
of
for Digimon.
is, what if we did another show, but it was Digimon?
Yeah.
Which is not
Which isn't bad, like,
inherently
I like
a bad
Digimon.
thing. It's just,
Yeah.
very much a transformative take on something else that's in the zeitgeist at the time, and oftentimes it's weird and different, and I like it.
Yeah. Oh, same. Anyway, so they continue to say it's not bad, but it made them wonder what it was trying to do, thinking of it in terms of more slice of life episode. However, they think they like it a bit better. And yeah, I guess episode 50 was a little bit more slice of life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't like a full focus on the main characters. It was just kind of like another character taking the spotlight, which is also quite interesting. We also have Francesco pointing out that Riku has appeared in the series before, because both Chloe and I thought that this was a newish character, but it was the one buying stuff off Jellymon's site that was used by Antilamon as a delivery man. And yeah, and that they said they were surprised that they brought Riku back. I completely forgot that this character existed. I just thought this was a new character, so I'm glad that they pointed this
catch,
out.
thank
Oh,
you.
Like,
was that the same guy? Okay.
Yeah, but I thought he looked familiar, but I thought it was just like,
Fair.
Standard background character face.
Yeah, I guess I just thought that if we had seen him, he was just a recycled model, not that he was like a named character or something.
Yeah. But it is good that they brought a character back that, like, isn't just, Hero's friend or Ruli's friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're doing
God, I wish
making
Ruri's
more
friends
characters
got to
return.
matter and have names.
They do have names.
They do have names.
There was an and
And
in
also,
that
I want-
sentence.
Oh, yeah, okay, good point. But I I still really want Ruli's other friends from the episode where we did the Descent, the underground one. I want them to come back. They had really, really cool designs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have Fierce Deity Link, who says that, because Chloe and I have not seen Kingdom Hearts, and we mentioned how we're the only two people in the world who haven't played it or done anything with it.
That's not true.
So we weren't sure. But we feel like sometimes it's the case, and we're the worst. We're trying to make Kingdom Hearts references, we can't. So Fierce Deity Link says there is one main character called Riku, and a little fairy recreation of a Final Fantasy character named Riku. So thank you. I'm glad that I wasn't just making it up that there is a character called Riku.
Yep.
Next, we have Hero the Legend, who says the version of May Crackmon is an aggressive form, which is kind of unstable in emotions. And yeah, I think it's called, Vicious Mode or something, this version of May Crackmon, for memory. Are you dying?
Why are you like this?
That's just Digimon. Welcome to Digimon.
You have not yet met Lucemon, as in Lucifer, fall down mode.
Oh no.
That I love fall down mode, because if you don't have the context of it, being Lucifer the fallen angel, you kind of just fall down the stairs, how Koichi also fall down the stairs.
What, a clumsy
Yeah,
it's so good.
We have Koichi fall down mode, we have Lucemon fall down mode, everyone fall down mode in Frontier. It's fun. There's a lot of random.
The Koichi fall down mode joke is terrible, and I love it.
Oh, it's one of my favorite random terrible jokes that I've made on Twitter. Which, if you're not following the Twitter, that's what you're missing out on, because I need to move back to Tumblr, because everyone else is moving back to Tumblr, and I'm like, all right, are we doing this, I guess?
Yeah, I considered deleting the Twitter account for the show.
Partially up, but it's not the topic for today. But anyway, the Koichi fall down mode is a funny joke. But there are lots of random Digimon, but this is different mode. There's also there's some cool ones like Chaos mode and Paladin mode, but there's also fall down mode.
8 modes for one specific Digimon, and then also occasionally some others.
Yeah, and then there's Omegamon, who doesn't get modes. He just gets there's just one that's Omegamon Defeat, but Defeat is DE:feet. I don't know why. We've got Alter S. Digimon has some interesting naming conventions. There's another one. There's a few Omegamon ones that are funny. Next we have Lazy Croconaw, who says the episode wasn't their favourite, but they felt for Riku because of the stuff that happened. Mm-hmm. They expected something sadder. Next episode, they hope it's some good horror. It was horror-ish, adjacent.
I liked it.
Then we have Giozaga, who says they feel like they took it as she wasn't lying, but took the wrong kind of message from their speech. When May Crackmon took from she can never be friends with humans because they can't give back what she puts in. She was crying from her mindset of how she couldn't be friends with the boy of the week, and how she could never be friends with humans like she wanted. That is an interesting, takeaway. That's on the other end of, we have the selflessness of, she is trying to separate herself from Riku because she keeps on hurting him, to this, really selfish feeling of just, I can't be friends with him because he will never give me what I want. So I'm glad that we're kind of, there are different ways that you can interpret that ending. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Next we have Narumi, who says they have an unpopular opinion of liking the small cast of Ghost Game and not having another new main protagonist. Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of glad we only have 3, because it's only 3 characters plus 3 Digimon that we can give characters and personality to. So, yeah, I appreciate that too. And that's it for our YouTube comments. Do we have any thoughts about the series so far, going by this week's episode? Because, hey, upgraded Digivice, maybe we're going somewhere.
I hope the next one is a more, functional upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope we get more information about what exactly the upgrade does. I would assume that since Hero's father does say that it makes it easier to synchronize, I'm assuming that's what the time,
go to the digital world soon, or at all.
I don't think we will. I think
Maybe.
that Hero's father gets to have the Digimon adventure and these kids are just hanging out in the real world.
Maybe. At very least, I'd like to know a little more about this universe's digital world.
Yeah, me too, honestly. Because a lot of seasons are really good with their world building, and this one has like, well, we don't have to build the world because you all already live in it. It would be nice to have some, like, world building, but I feel like if this season is ending in the next few weeks or the next month or two, I feel like that's too late to start, like, showing us the digital world and then doing, like, world building and mechanics for the digital world. I feel like that should have a few episodes dedicated to, like, exploring that. And at this point, I don't think there's enough time to, and do it well at least.
I agree.
Like, I don't want them just to say, hey, let's go to the digital world. Well, that's the digital world, and then just leave it at that.
Yeah,
I want it to be like...
I wish there had been substantive world building about, why and how the Digimon are still coming here. Dad?
Like, I really don't like Frontier, which I've made very clear, but Frontier does so well in its world building. Yeah. It shows us so much of the digital world. But that's because we go in the digital world in episode 1. We basically don't spend any time in the human world except for one episode where a character goes back for just one episode, and then
possibly
a few times sort of. And then a few shots towards the end of what's happening in the human world, and then of course when they return. But otherwise it is basically entirely in the digital world, so they have 50 episodes to show you all the things about the digital world. Mm-hmm. And it's just pretty cool. But I don't feel like if this season is having 60 episodes, let's say we go to the digital world in the next, 5 episodes, we're just ending immediately after that, pretty much. Yeah. I don't want that to happen, because the digital world should be world built.
You've certainly convinced me on that one, yeah. But I still wish they'd tell me something about it.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to know, things about it, but I don't...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want it to be good. I'd rather nothing than have it be bad. I would, prefer it to be, give me everything and make it good.
Sure.
But I don't want it to be, half-assed.
Let's be realistic, it's Digimon.
Oh yeah, my expectations are always low. I'm a Digimon fan. But I just still would like some good things. And next week's episode is called Mysterious Lake. Do we have any predictions?
The lake will be mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited for Kappa Friend.
Yeah.
I love the Kappa so much.
The Kappa Friend was adorable.
Yeah, it's pretty sure that the Kappa Friend that we see in the preview is Guapamon, which is the DJ turtle who evolves from Gammamon in Digimon Savers. Kind of love him very much. So excited to see how that goes. Thank you everyone for listening to another episode of LostinTranslationmon. You can find the link dump linked in the description, and you can contact us and stay updated. You can leave us a comment on this episode on YouTube to join in the conversation. And for a full list of ways to find out about the podcast across the internet, such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, head over to my Linktree, which is linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. If you enjoy the podcast or videos, or even my silly little tweets such as Koichi Fall Down Mode, you can show your support by signing up on Patreon and get some cool rewards and help us hit milestones. And of course, thank you to our current supporters on Patreon, Stephen Reeves, who is Wawasifa on Archive Our Own, Katawashi, Chisai, who can follow on Twitter at Chisai2the6, Neobu, who says you should follow Chisai on Twitter at Chisai2the6, Lismet, who is Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Emery from Gone Will Hunting, a Hunter x Hunter Rewatch podcast, Magnus, Lucas, JasonMon05, Patrick, Jason, Shelby, Digital Hazard, who is on Twitch at The Digital Hazard, Alemus, Teropiamon, and Vmon Tamer. And of course, you can also make a one donation on PayPal, which can be found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Ergemon. You can also donate to me on my Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/Erdra. I don't know why I said that entire thing without taking a breath, but it hurts. So, thank you so much for listening, and thank you to Quinn and Chloe for joining me for another week. I'm going to breathe soon, so anything that y'all want to talk about before we wrap up and finish for another week? Breathing time.
I mean, mostly I was just going to see how long you'd go without breathing.
Wow.
Wrap-up time?
Well, the answer was, I'm breathing now. So that's exciting.
I'm glad to hear that
yeah.
air is breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, air has air. Air for at some point did not have air, but now I do. But yeah, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.